Hello, my name is Professor Dr. Engineer Peter Raphael Kapamba Chileshe, or PRK for short, Fellow of the Engineering Institution of Zambia and Fellow of the Southern African Institution of Mining and Metallurgy. My presentation will be in three parts. The first part is about you, the second part will be about me, and the third part will be about my agenda for the school. Now, let me just talk one or two things about you, because this is all about you. This is all about you. The promotion of your self-interest, the promotion of your family's interest, because surely it can't be anything other than that. We all came to this school not just to breathe the fresh air, because surely we could get better fresh air from where we are coming from, but to promote ourselves and our families. I go a long way back in the school, having come here in 2006, and before that I was at Wenzi. But about you, during my time here, from 2006 up to the present, I have always focused upon you. I always say to my colleagues when we are in meetings that, we must promote our products. We must work with our colleagues. We should always be working for our colleagues, always. Whether it is to do with promotions or whether it's to do with contract renewals and so on. It has always been about you. A bit about myself. Age-wise, I'm 3 by 20-something. It's tripling. But as they say, a lot of people are most productive in their latest years. I believe that I'm very approachable. Many of you have interacted with me. I'm not just about coming out because of the elections. I've always been about you, friendly and with you, not just about the elections. So even after the deanship, I will be assuming that I'll get the deanship, I'll still be the same. I guess I'm kind of a bruiser on your behalf. Those who know me well will know that 1 minute we'll have a vigorous discussion and the next will be the greatest of friends. So I'm not that kind of person. I'll fight for you, whether it's promotion, contract renewal, or sponsorship for whatever, definitely. Now, maybe something about my agenda and vision for the next 3 years. I developed a campaign template which I would like to share with you to go through the various items in a structured way. First is teaching. As you know, teaching, research, consultancy. Now I want to talk about teaching first. Maybe starting from the most junior, the SDFs. I think there I need to look at the local training and the overseas training. The local training meaning facilitate matching of SDFs and former graduates with local PhDs and professors for MPhil and MSc. Then on the overseas training, work with staff development office to access permitted staff allocation from the staff development office. Then if I can go on to the lecturers, actively encourage PhD lecturer training abroad and locally, pretty much as done now, and work very hard at it. Facilitating a training through CAD, facilitate training, computer-assisted design and training, promotion and contract renewals commensurate with effort and zeal. Enrich lecturers with Solwezi type block mode teaching as well as evening and parallel programs. I got some contributions here. Also, I visited the various heads of department, like the mining department. They told me, the mining engineering department told me about a potential human resource issue with lecturer shortages in mine planning and design. Also, the point of age distribution was raised that it may be a problem in the years to come. Metallurgy mentioned the issue that their numbers are rising. Today, being second year, being just below 70, need for additional resources, for additional teaching staff, classrooms, and so on. Geology, Advertised for geological lecturers in engineering, geology, and geophysics. The issue needs pursuit. The geological technician, I'm told, is currently going through processing. Then environmental engineering, there was a comment there from the head that SESM is there, but international exchange for lecturers to participate in teaching at big universities abroad is needed. This is a good point. Then I went on to chemical engineering, two burning issues there. Computer-assisted drawing and design training for lecturers is an issue, so that theoretical training by lecturers is complemented by computer-driven pedagogical skills for lecturers, e.g. to undertake computational fluid mechanics. Mentoring of staff members is absent. Then other people also made a few comments. There are one or two which I'll pick. In terms of software upgrade for members of staff, thought must be given to buying laptops with big capacities to accommodate application software for lecturers. So there's a big point there for computer-assisted design and drawing skills upgrade for lecturers and professors. Similar to what I've said about the lecturers, now in the case of professors, facilitate promotion and recruitment to ensure each department has a minimum of one, preferably more. Enrich professors with postgraduate and Chileshe type block mode teaching as well. Computer-assisted design training, as I mentioned earlier. Then in terms of curriculum development, I'm still on teaching there. Diploma. Actively develop and promote evening and distance programs. Foster staff exchange with other universities in curriculum review to promote international standards. 3. Promote module writing by lecturers for each course to promote better teaching. And then another area of concern here is the fact that most of these mining companies, for one reason or another, suddenly have discovered that it's a very turned into training colleges and universities. None of them has yet announced a university, but they are all announcing and advertising training colleges. There was a point also I got in terms of training there, on diploma from environmental engineering, which was that rotation of teaching of courses from one lecturer to the next continually works against specialization by members of staff. Better to specialize in a narrow number of courses. This is worth looking at. Then another point was the school library needs to be revisited to stock the latest new books so that teaching is about the latest, not 20th century. The same applies to the university library when it reopens. Other people also contributed a point, which was that we probably would need to develop a Chileshe type block mode for the main vacation break for the main campus or Chileshe campus to cater for the Copper Belt. The same applies to the degree. The same points apply to the degree. But for the degree, there's also the additional point that we need to develop honors degree options per program in parallel to current programs. I'm sure everyone has heard of the latest controversies as to whether the degrees we offer here in Zambia are up to international standard and so on. Our friends School of Engineering have done well in that respect and have moved further. I believe that we can also do something similar. I'm an honors graduate myself, but I do not believe that this should be wholesale. I think that a part of the fourth or third year group, dependent on the program, can elect, not be compulsorily forced into honors programs. Then again, this question of fostering staff exchange with other universities in curriculum review to promote international standards. And again, promote module writing by lecturers for each course to promote better teaching and extra cash for writers. Then the same point was raised through environmental engineering in terms of rotation of teaching of courses and, of course, to develop Chileshe type courses. Then the next point, still on curriculum development, that was undergrad. But now for the postgraduate, MPhil and MSc, develop and promote evening and distance programs. We have made some headway in this direction, but in my view, it's not enough. Now, there was also another point made by other people, which was to link the development of master's programs to enhancement of research, as it is easier to form research groups. Then for PhDs, develop and promote evening and distance programs. Explore possibility and promotion of one tuition-free scholarship, a program for 3 years. Foster staff exchange and all that. Still on curriculum development. The development of PhD, MPhil, MSc guidelines. Finalize the PhD master's guidelines to enhance postgraduate education and supervision. It is really difficult to advertise programs, and when the students come, that's when you start doing your programs. I think it's something we need to sort out as a school. This was circulated some months back, and we need to circulate it as a school as to exactly what we will do at the global level for PhD, MPhil, and MSc guidelines. Then PhD, MPhil, MSc space at SMMS needed to domesticate student studies still in postgraduate. A point was made by someone from outside to say computer cluster is needed in the school for students with security, to promote postgraduate computer studies within the school. Then in terms of classroom, work with central administration and mining companies to facilitate deployment of advanced classroom technology in all classrooms and labs. We have made quite a significant progress in this, but it is not consistent yet with the deployment of our LCDs and so on. We also need to repaint all our classrooms to create a scholarly environment. Many walls are just plain white or yellow or whatever. Really, we ought to look at repainting them, and every program, since we all have classrooms we consider our own, we should be able to domesticate, say like with mining drawings, like what happens in M114. Then still on teaching, laboratories. Work with central administration and mining companies to facilitate deployment of advanced laboratory technology in all classrooms and labs to suit the requirements of each discipline. I had quite a number of contributions here from the heads of department. Mining, more equipment required in M114 for modeling, M115 rock mechanics, and S122 software to cater for future large numbers like the 39 now in second year. Then from metallurgy, lack of reagents and chemicals in the labs is an issue. Then for geology, geology program is growing currently at 4th year. Current equipment is not even enough for one class. 5 GPs, 5 geological hammers, 5 microscopes. Orders are in the system and signed by central admin, but stuck in procurement. Then another issue that was mentioned was Hippo Pool has been identified as suitable for training, but mine visits there are a problem with no response from KCM. Clearly, we need to revisit this issue with the mine. Geomatic engineering. Equipment is an issue with geomatics now at 4th year. Current equipment for up to 3rd year only. Issue with geology and survey to be exposed to latest softwares in SEPAC, geostats, and geophysics. Orders for latest total stations are in system, stuck at procurement. So obviously, these are topical issues, but will need to be pursued if I should get in there. Then chemical engineering. There is need to improve labs, especially if all the equipment from the mines can be procured so that we are able to set up 5 areas with a lab, for example, to cover fluid mechanics, heat and mass transfer, separation processes. Currently not much to show, say, to international visitors from other universities apart from some field glassware. Then in terms of equipment, work with central administration and mining companies to facilitate a deployment of advanced classroom technology in all classrooms and labs to suit the requirements of each discipline. Research. In terms of the research coordinator, identify research champions to lead in specific areas, especially our new PhDs who have come back and should be able to assist us as research champions in their respective areas. Then the next is Zambia Journal of Chemical Engineering. Vigorously promote the development of ZACHE or the successor to facilitate publications by school members and outsiders by putting in place a dedicated editorial board which will publish in a regular fashion. Research to other publications, identify publication champions similar to the research champions to lead in specific areas, especially new PhDs. Work with director research, research coordinator and publication champions, as well as lecturers and professors to identify receptive high-quality journals for publications. Here, at the moment, it tends to be individual. Then research funding. Efforts will be made to work with highly skilled lecturers in certain fields to generate some income. At present, some lecturers do generate work for themselves, which is okay, but this needs to be on a scale which benefits the department, school, and the university. Consultancy. Lecturers and professors in various departments should make an effort to generate contracts to cover some expenses. The scale may be limited, but every little bit helps, and this will be encouraged within reason. Promote a sharing formula that incentivizes research staff. At the moment, it's a bit rigid. ACESM relationship. Our sustainable mining establishment has now come, the ACESM. Working with ACESM, many lecturers and professors should be able to undertake courses and link up with local and international students to study there. Then memoranda of understanding relationships. Promote and implement memoranda of understanding relevant to mines and mineral sciences to promote active relationships such as joint conferences and symposia, as well as staff exchanges. At the moment, some of these still do exist, but they are currently not utilized to the full. Conferences, symposia, organization. Work with other universities such as UNZA, the way we are doing it, to promote reputable conferences and symposia on geology, mining, metallurgy, geomatics, environmental engineering and chemical engineering, as well as groundwater, hydrology and so on, for easy access by members of staff, public and media. Facilitate as much as possible author lecturers to attend. Then major infrastructure, new campus and satellite campuses. Just last week when we were in Solwezi, we went with the dean, with the outgoing dean, to a site where the Copperbelt University Solwezi campus will go. And I was very, very encouraged to see this, and this is the way it should be. Vigorously promote the acquisition of a new campus for mines and mineral sciences with or without School of Engineering at ZCCM Karulushi or elsewhere in the Copperbelt. Promote and strengthen the Solwezi campus and opening of any new campuses such as Eastern Province targeting Malawi and Mozambique and others as need arises. 7. Still in major infrastructure and consumables, classroom technology. Acquisition of classroom equipment. Redecorate classes themed around core teaching in that classroom. There was a comment here from Metallurgy that printers are a serious problem in generating handouts and other requirements. Number 8, governance. In terms of the council, the caretaker committee has outlived its genuine mandate and council need reconstitution. We will work with others to promote a transition. The work of council is too important to be left in limbo. Then the central administration, still on governance. Central administration is stuck in an industrial relations crisis, compounded by inadequate funding from GRZ and lack of a credible alternative funding formula. We will work conscientiously with other deans, directors, unions, and stakeholders, as well as the administration, to transition the university to a peaceful scholarly environment. Still on governance, general administration support. Support for departments need improvement, such as secretarial, IT, cleaning, maintenance contractors, and so on. We all know the problem of secretaries around here, where at the moment we have got 2 secretaries to cover the entire school. Then offices. As departments grow, offices in department clusters to create esprit de corps need to be built or found within the university. Then still on governance, Senate. Promote the leadership of Senate in academic affairs by strict regulation of meetings and avoidance of off-standard committees such as special Senate. Work for the publication of Senate proceedings and minutes to all members of staff via social media and internet to promote transparency and accountability. Still on governance, General Management Council. Work for the publication of Senate proceedings and minutes as well as General Management Council minutes to members in order to promote transparency and accountability. Still on governance, Financial Council and universal income sharing between staff and the university. Work for and promote the introduction of the Financial Council to manage the financial affairs of the university in a way similar to current Senate, to avoid central administration, lack of transparency and accountability in financial affairs. This question of the Financial Council was raised some years back, but the Financial Council was never implemented. We need to work on the statutes or whatever it takes to get to a situation where decisions concerning financial issues in the university are not made by a small core of individuals. Work with staff and university administration to develop an equitable sharing formula for teaching, consultancy, and research. My personal belief, as demonstrated by Solwezi and much of the research around, is that maybe there isn't enough allocated to lecturers and professors. There should be a percentage high enough to incentivize a person, not where you have a situation where some lecturers seem to work very, very hard on research, in consultancy, and whatever, and whatever, but they cannot demonstrate much difference between themselves and others who don't do very much. Then the university, school, and departmental restructuring. The university, some schools, and some departments may need to be restructured, and thus the school should be in the forefront and proactive in facilitating the process. I asked one departmental head, where I've heard a number of people mention going their own way, but this individual was able to tell me that they currently do not see the need, but if so, maybe under process engineering, but certainly not as a standalone, and surely not as a linked with a mechanical engineering, which has got no chemistry whatsoever. Then last but not the least, university, school, and departmental funding in general. The university needs a financial council as above to lead and strategize on the way forward to assist the university council. Smaller institutions manage to fund themselves operationally and capitalize. Why can't we do the same? CBU should be in a better situation as the smaller institutions do it with lower fees and virtually no staff, but relying on poaching part-timers from CBU and other large institutions, thus really being subsidized by CBU, and may generate greater income given the prestige of a CBU degree. Funding from research and consultancy may also contribute, but given the small size of the economy generally and the antipathy shown by mine owners to local institutions, the scale and the scope may be limited, especially when you consider that the mining industry, for the most part, seems to be firefighting in order to survive. Only one or two, in fact, pay taxes like Kansanshi and Chibuluma. Others are involved in all sorts of dodges to avoid taxation. And one wonders if even these new schools and training colleges that we are seeing coming up are not just another tax dodge, but the country cannot afford this. We must have stability in the educational system, not where The college rises up when the prices are good, and the staff and the students are pruned when the prices go down. You can't have the stability there. And I think this is where Copperbelt University can assist by affiliating with these new institutions and helping them to weather these crises. Thank you very much. I thank you for listening.